Elon Musk walked down the quiet street, his hands tucked into the pockets of his black jacket. The air was crisp, the distant hum of the city blending with the occasional rustle of leaves. It was one of those rare moments when he could be alone with his thoughts, away from meetings, factories, and the endless stream of notifications. He liked walking. It gave him time to think, to process, to imagine. The world around him had changed so much, yet in these quiet moments, it felt timeless. As he passed a small park, he noticed a young girl sitting on a bench, her feet barely touching the ground. She had a book in her hands, the cover worn, the pages slightly curled at the edges. Her hair was tied in 2 braids, and she seemed lost in thought. When she saw him, she hesitated for a moment, as if debating whether to speak. Then, gathering courage, she stood up and walked toward him. "Excuse me," she said, her voice clear but tentative. Elon stopped, looking down at her with a curious expression. "Yes." The girl took a deep breath. "What does God mean to you?" The question was so unexpected that for a brief moment, Elon just looked at her, studying her face. She couldn't have been older than 10 or 11, yet there was a seriousness in her eyes that belonged to someone who had thought deeply about things. "That's a big question," he said finally, tilting his head slightly. "Why do you ask?" The girl shifted her weight from one foot to the other. "I like asking people what they believe in," she said. "I read a lot, and I think a lot, but sometimes it's interesting to hear what others think too." Elon smiled slightly. "And do you ask everyone this question, or just certain people?" She nodded. "Everyone. But especially people who are important." He raised an eyebrow. "Important how?" "People who change the world," she said simply. "People who build things, who make big decisions. I think what they believe matters, because their beliefs shape what they do." Elon exhaled softly, glancing at the horizon for a moment before looking back at her. "And what do you believe?" The girl hesitated, then shook her head. "I asked you first." "I believe in God," Elon said after a moment of thought, his voice steady yet reflective. "And God means a lot to me." He watched the girl's reaction closely, curious to see how she would respond. Her eyes widened slightly, as if she hadn't expected such a direct answer. "Really?" she asked, tilting her head. "A lot of people say you only believe in science, in technology." Elon smiled faintly. "Science and technology are tools. They help us understand the universe, but they don't explain everything. There are things beyond what we can measure, things we feel, things that guide us. I think about the complexity of the universe, how everything fits together, how life exists against impossible odds. That makes me believe in something greater than us." The girl looked thoughtful, biting her lower lip as if processing his words. Then, after a pause, she asked, "So, what does God mean to you? Like, really mean?" Elon glanced up at the sky for a moment, then back at her. "God is the force behind everything," he said. "The reason there's something instead of nothing. The reason the universe isn't just a chaotic mess but has structure, laws, and meaning. I see God in the laws of physics, in the way galaxies move, in the way our minds can imagine the future and create it. Some people think of God as a person, others as an idea, but to me, God is both beyond us and within us. The drive to create, to explore, to push beyond limits, that's part of it too." The girl's fingers tightened around the book she was holding. "So, you think God made all of this?" she asked, gesturing vaguely at the world around them. "Or do you think the universe just happened, and then we called it God?" Elon considered her question carefully. "I think creation and discovery go hand in hand," he said. "Maybe the universe has always been there, maybe it had a beginning, but either way, there's something behind it, something that set everything in motion. Whether you call it God, destiny, or the unknown, it's there. And it's powerful." The girl nodded slowly, absorbing his words. Then, after a moment, she looked up at him again. "Can I tell you what God means to me?" Elon smiled. "Of course." I'd like to hear. For me, the girl began, her voice steady but thoughtful, God is someone who listens. Someone who knows me even when I feel like no one else does. When I pray, it's like I'm not alone, even if I don't hear an answer right away. God is love, but also rules. Like, you can't just do anything you want and expect everything to be okay. There are right things and wrong things, and I think God helps people see that, if they really try to listen. She hesitated, glancing up at Elon as if checking to see if he was still paying attention. He was. His expression was thoughtful, interested, as if he were taking in every word. Go on, he encouraged. She took a deep breath. Sometimes I wonder if people make God more complicated than he really is, she continued. Like, maybe he doesn't need all the fancy words and big ideas. Maybe he just wants us to be good to each other, to try our best, to not give up. When I read about God, I think about what he wants me to do, not just what he is. Does that make sense? Elon nodded slowly. It makes perfect sense, he said. You're thinking about it in a way that's real, not just repeating what someone told you. That's important. A lot of people don't do that. The girl's eyes lit up a little, pleased by his response. So, do you think I'm right? She asked. Elon smiled. I think you're asking the right questions. That's more important than just having answers. The girl considered that for a moment, then asked, Do you think God talks to people? Elon exhaled, glancing up at the sky before answering. Not with words, maybe. But through ideas, through the way things happen, through the way we feel when we know something is right or wrong. Some people think of that as intuition, some think of it as a message. Maybe it's both. The girl nodded, satisfied with that answer, then tilted her head slightly. What about the Bible? She asked. What does it mean to you? Elon looked at her, surprised by the question. It wasn't one he was often asked, especially not so directly. He thought for a moment before responding. The Bible is a book of stories, history, lessons, he said. It's one of the most influential books in the world, whether you believe in it or not. People have followed its teachings for thousands of years. It has wisdom in it, but also mystery. Some parts are hard to understand, some parts are inspiring. I think it's important, even for people who don't follow religion, because it shapes so much of the world we live in. The girl studied him for a moment. But do you believe it? She asked. Elon smiled slightly. I think there's truth in it, he said. Maybe not always in a literal way, but in the ideas, the lessons. Stories help people understand things, and the Bible is full of stories about right and wrong, about struggle, about hope. Even if someone doesn't believe in everything exactly as it's written, they can still learn from it. The girl seemed to consider that carefully, as if weighing his words. So you don't think it's just a book? She asked. No, Elon said. It's more than that. Books hold ideas, and ideas are powerful. The Bible has shaped billions of lives. That makes it important. The girl nodded again, as if she had expected that answer. Then she asked, Do you have a favorite part of it? Elon thought for a moment, then said, There are a few passages that stand out to me. But one that I think about a lot is the idea that faith without works is empty. Belief is important, but what we do matters even more. You can say you believe in good, in kindness, in love, but if you don't act on it, does it really mean anything? The girl's face lit up. That's what I think too, she said. I think a lot of people forget that. They talk about God, but they don't do what he asks. I think that's the most important part, doing good things, not just talking about them. Elon nodded. You're absolutely right, he said. And I think you're very smart for understanding that. The girl smiled, clearly pleased. Thanks, she said. I just think if people spent more time helping each other instead of arguing, the world would be better. Elon chuckled. I agree. Maybe you should be the one running things. The girl laughed, shaking her head. Maybe one day, she said. But right now, I just want to make small good things happen. Elon's expression softened. That's how big things start, he said. One small good thing at a time. You know, Elon began, his voice thoughtful, conversations like this don't happen often. People don't always take the time to stop and think about what really matters. They get busy, distracted, caught up in their own worlds. But when someone like you asks a question like that, about God, about meaning, it makes people pause. And that's important. He looked at the girl, his expression serious but warm. You made me stop and think today. That means a lot to me. The girl blinked in surprise. Really? She asked. Elon nodded. Yes. You remind me why all of this matters, not just technology, not just the future, but the choices we make, the way we treat each other. You see, people think progress is just about inventing things, about reaching new frontiers. But real progress is about becoming better. As individuals. As a society. And that starts with asking the right questions. With thinking about things that go beyond just ourselves. The girl listened intently, her small hands gripping the book she held. So, what should people do? She asked. Elon exhaled, looking up at the sky for a moment before returning his gaze to her. They should do good things, he said simply. Not just talk about them. Not just think about them. But actually do them. Because at the end of the day, what we do is what defines us. The girl nodded. Like helping people? Yes, Elon said. Helping people. Being kind when it's easier not to be. Standing up for what's right, even when it's hard. Choosing to make the world better, in small ways, every single day. Because small things add up. Every act of kindness, every decision to do good, it spreads. And before you know it, you've changed more than you ever expected. The girl's face brightened. I think that too. I think even if you can't do something big, you should still do something good. Exactly, Elon said, smiling. It's not about fame or recognition. It's about knowing, deep down, that you did something that mattered. Even if no one else sees it, even if no one thanks you, it still counts. Sometimes, the most important good deeds are the ones no one knows about. The girl looked thoughtful. So, that's what God wants us to do. Elon nodded. I believe so. If you believe in something greater than yourself, then you should try to live up to it. And even if you don't believe, doing good is still the right choice. Because the world needs more kindness. More action. More people who care. The girl smiled. I want to do that, she said. I want to make good things happen. Elon looked at her with admiration. Then you already understand something that a lot of people take a lifetime to learn, he said. And that's why I believe you'll make a difference. The girl beamed, as if his words had given her something solid to hold on to. Thank you, she said. No, Elon replied. Thank you. Elon looked at the girl, a small but genuine smile forming on his lips. You know, he said, his voice quieter now, almost reflective, I get asked a lot of questions. About space, about technology, about the future. But what you asked me today. It was different. It wasn't about machines or rockets or money. It was about something bigger, something deeper. And that means a lot to me. The girl tilted her head slightly, listening intently. She seemed to be absorbing every word, as if trying to understand something beyond just the conversation itself. People often forget to ask the important questions, Elon continued. They focus on what they can build, what they can achieve, but they don't stop to think about why. Why are we here? What are we supposed to do with our time? What really matters? He paused, studying the girl's expression. But you're already thinking about these things. And that's rare. The girl looked down for a moment, as if unsure of what to say, then back up at him. I just think it's important, she said softly. I think people should try to be good, even when it's hard. Elon nodded. You're absolutely right. And that's why I want to thank you. Not just for asking me that question, but for reminding me of something important. The girl's eyes widened slightly. I reminded you of something, she asked. Elon exhaled, glancing up at the sky before answering. Yes. That no matter how far we go, no matter what we accomplish, the most important thing is still how we treat each other. The impact we have on the people around us. The small choices we make every day. He looked back at her, his expression serious but warm. You made me stop and think today. That's a gift. The girl smiled, a little shyly. I just wanted to know what you thought, she said. And you asked the perfect question, Elon said. Because in the end, that's what really matters, what we believe, how we choose to live, what we do to make the world better. He paused, then added. And I think you're already on the right path. The girl looked down at the book she was holding, then back up at him. I want to do good things, she said. I want to help people. Elon smiled. Then you will, he said. Because the world needs people like you, people who care, who think, who want to do good even when no one is watching. He took a step back, glancing at the busy street around them. Keep asking questions, he told her. Keep thinking. Keep believing in good things. And most importantly, keep doing good things. Because even the smallest acts of kindness can change the world. The girl nodded, her expression determined. I will, she said. Elon extended his hand, and after a moment's hesitation, she shook it. Then, without another word, she turned and walked away, her small figure disappearing into the crowd. Elon watched her go, a thoughtful expression on his face. Then, with a quiet sigh, he continued on his way, his steps a little slower than before, as if the conversation had given him something new to carry with him.